And then just wanted to ask you about the fight between Joshua Van and Royval. That might have been in the top 10 fights in UFC history. I mean, that certainly was an amazing brawl. What was your take?
Yeah, I agree. And literally there were texts flying around from the truck and me and the matchmakers. And basically going in the beginning of the third round, they had already, broke into the top 10 all time for significant strikes. And I think they ended up at 3 all time and crushed the record in their weight division, and they broke another record too. So the other thing, I'm gonna pay Royval his win money. He took that fight with the number 12 ranked guy on short notice and put on an absolute war. So those two are both going to do well tonight, and it's absolutely positively deserved.
And I know it's early, but how do you see a matchup between Pantoja and Van? I mean, you have Pantoja, the smart, wily veteran against this kid that's, also growing by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Obviously, it's the fight to make right now. It's the reaction that it got from the fans tonight, and we'll just have to see how that plays out. I don't know.
I was going to ask you some other.
For a kid who's ranked number 12 to come in on short notice and take on the number 1 guy in the world who was highly motivated to win that fight after the press conference the other day, where he said, "I feel like I'm the most disrespected fighter in the sport," and then he knows he's going to get the title shot. He came to win tonight.
Joshua Van, obviously a star-making performance. We're all talking about him. Can you just talk about his rise? I mean, 2 years ago he's debuting in the UFC. He's 8-1 now. He takes out the number 1 contender. I mean, what have you thought of his rise?
Well, tonight we had some people here who were first time ever to UFC events, and one of the things that was said to me a lot tonight is how educated the fan base is, as far as the fights go and everything else. And if you saw the pop that those two got tonight, you would have thought that they were both huge superstars. The kid's done all the right things, and tonight he was given an opportunity on short notice, and he went in and absolutely delivered. I mean, that's what I love about this sport, and that's what I love about giving guys opportunities.
Yeah. Can you give us the story on why you were willing to allow him in the cage? We don't matchmake on Saturday night, right? But it's clear that's the fight. Why did you say, hey, yeah, let's go ahead and do a face-off?
Well, he's the number 1 contender, and I just said that, the winner of that fight would get a title shot. So, and obviously the fans...
Dana, Ilia, after the fight, he called in Paddy Pimblett and brought him into the cage, and they had a face-off. Obviously, they've got a long history together. I know there's a lot of options on the table for Ilia, but when he shows that type of interest in a fight, does that make you want to make it?
Well, I don't know who the hell let him in there. That should have never happened. Let's start there. I was already back in my room, or that would have never happened. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think about that stuff tonight, other than, obviously the Van fight. But, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out.
And he's mentioned that he would obviously love to fight in Spain, but he doesn't want to do it in the middle of the night that you have to do with European pay-per-views. But given what a star he is and the following that he has, I mean, do you start trying to move things around? I know you said we want to go to Spain. Do you start thinking, how can we get him, in prime time in Spain over there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Spain isn't even an option right now anyway, so.
Yeah.
Dan over here in the middle. Is there any headway on Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena if that title fight's going to get booked soon?
I'll let you know when we get it done.
And just kind of piggybacking off that, obviously with Ilia's win, everyone's really excited to potentially see a future fight with him and Islam. I know that's the fight that people wanted. Ilia said earlier this week that if Islam loses that fight, he wouldn't give the opportunity for Islam to fight for his belt again. Is that something you'd bypass? Because that seems like such a big fight to make.
I mean, this is all talk.
Speculative.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
But I imagine that's a fight you guys would want to make at some point. I mean, just the magnitude
Sure.
of it.
I mean, I'd make that fight tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Tuesday, I guess we could say.